developers, when they authenticate their users, they will append the user into the request so that it can be easily accessible everywhere on the application. It's actually a good approach, but in TypeScript we used to have this error. It will tell you that user does not exist on type request, params, whatever. It's just telling you, hey, we do not have a property called user on the request type of Express. This request here. If you tap it right like this, like you tap it, you're gonna see the types declaration on request, and you won't see anything like user. So you have to append the user into the request type. Some developers used to bypass it by just doing stuff like as any, and then they put it inside brackets so that JavaScript will not run. You should compile it first. Yeah, this actually used to works, but it's not a good practice. Let's say you have 1000 files in this project, and then like you have to be doing request as any.user every time you want to access user. No, the best practice is to declare this user globally using TypeScript namespace in this project, so that any way you put you write something like request.user, TypeScript should know that you have declared your user on your Express namespace. So I know that there are many ways to go about this. Yeah, like you can do stuff like export interface, and then you like have something like auth express or auth request, something like this. Auth requests, and then you extend the original request and then add user pro, but that's not a good practice. So let's fix this error using TypeScript's namespace declaration. Alright, so in your root directory, you are going to create a folder called types. If you are using source folder, you are going to have it inside your source folder, but as you can see in this project, I'm not using a source folder. So let me create a types folder, and then in this types folder, I'm going to create where I can declare my types for TypeScript. Types, additional types for Express. So let me add express.d.ts. What is telling Express and this workspace, all the TypeScript we already have here, is express.d.ts means we are going to use this file purposely for type declaration, nothing more. If you do anything like this, if you import any external .ts file, this file will no longer be used as a type declaration file. For instance, if I import any file from here or any .ts file, it will treat it as if it's no longer a TypeScript declaration file, so your error will still remain. So let's fix that let's declare the Express type by using the declare keyword. I think I got it right. Yeah. Okay, and then we are going to have our interface. The interface we want to override, we are going to have it here. As you can see, I already suggest some codes. It's nice, but we are going to write it this way. Export interface request. Okay, yeah, request, and then in here you can add any other additional property type props to this particular Express request. So as you can see, if I do something like this, or let's say I have my types for user, I can add ID, string, username, and user, let's say string also. You see the error is gone. We have fixed this error here. Can you see that? This error. Now anyway in your project you can do request.user and it will no longer tell you, it cannot recognize it because you have declared it. So let me try to access another thing on this request that does not exist. You see it will throw error. Let me say season ID, and then I did something like this, request.season ID. Yeah, you see it will tell you this. I don't know what you're talking about. this does not exist in our types declaration. So to fix that, you just basically come here as well, just add it into in here. You see it's fixed. So you can add as many properties as you want if you want to append it into the request process here. Yeah, so that's basically how you do that. So if you have followed this video along and then you did everything I told you to do and this error is still remaining, it's still telling you your user is still not working, your user is still telling you it doesn't exist, your code is still like this, like you have done everything right and then your user is still not working, so there is something that you need to do, that's on your TypeScript configuration, because I know some editors will still not works even after doing all of that. So let's talk about that. So on this code it already works, but if you do everything I told you to do in this video and this error still remain, on my editor it went away, but there are still some additional things you will do. You see here, you should just collect everything here, and then I will show you what exactly you should the best settings you can give these compiler options. Okay, so first of all, this target is talking about the target of the JavaScript version you want your code to be compiled into. I will recommend you take it to ES 2022. It is very stable and is very good, and you can add module, the module we want, we can use common.js. That means it can support both require and also support import and export. The output directory is disk, correct, and the root directory you should have it as your source folder if you are using source folder, but I'm not using source folder here, so I can give it as the root directory. And then the struct rule, you can take it to false because we do not know why your user is still showing error after you have added this file here. So take it to false for now. Later you can return it to true, but take it to false. Okay, and then add this one to true as well. And we don't want to force consistent casting, we want to just add module resolution to Node. And then we want to skip the library checks, skip lib check false. Yeah, so if you have done this and this error is still there, request.user is still saying error, because I know some editors, they are very stubborn, you can still include your express.d.ts, because if you do everything right here and then on this file here and then it's still showing you that error, then it's basically telling you it cannot recognize the express.d.file you declared. So you got to include it yourself. You will include it here, include, then you're gonna pass array. Here you can type in the path to your types, then you can just copy its relative path and then paste it here. Yeah, and then next it's we don't really need this node app here, it's the root directory like this, and you are going to like declare every file there should be treated as a type declaration file, and then you can also like declare it everywhere on the application, let it be everywhere on the application, as long as there is .d.file it should be picked up. Yeah, so like this error have to go no matter the editor you're using. So that's basically how you fix this request.user, and you can add as many as you want. As you can see, I added .season. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.